Having your child wake up in the middle of the night can be, at best, just a minor inconvenience, but at worst, it can be incredibly disruptive, especially if they have a hard time getting back to sleep. But there are a few things that you can do to settle your kids during those nighttime awakenings so that you and your kids can get the best sleep possible. Hey everyone, I'm Adria. Depending on the age of your child, nighttime awakenings could be just a developmental milestone, like the sign of your little one going through some physical and emotional changes. Or it could be an issue with their bedroom environment. But in general, it's usually pretty normal. It's the getting them back to sleep part that is a bit of an art. Really though, getting your child back to sleep requires a bit of attentiveness to what might be disrupting them and figuring out what they might need to reintroduce some calm. So let's talk about some tips on how to get your child back to sleep and actually what might be keeping them from a solid night of sleep in the first place. If you have an infant or a newborn, the reason that they're waking up at night is because they just aren't on a schedule yet. If they're otherwise healthy and not in distress, waking up at night might simply mean that they need to be fed or need a diaper change. Getting your child comfortable and soothed is maybe all you need to do. And your soothing practices here to get your child back to sleep might be simply rubbing their back or rocking them to sleep in your arms or a rocking chair. This may be especially easy if they sleep in the same room or the same bed as you, but generally speaking, don't make this too much of a process with too much interaction. Part of getting a child on a sleep schedule and helping them sleep throughout the night is building up their resilience to waking up at night, which is to say you want to give your child the tools to soothe themselves back to sleep after they've woken up. So our advice is this: if your child doesn't need to be fed or changed and isn't showing signs of distress or sickness, maybe they just want to party a bit in the middle of the night, then make your room check short and sweet. Visit their room for a minute or two, rub their back, maybe reposition their blankets, then remove yourself. You could also consider soft words of affirmation or a lullaby. According to research, singing to your children can strengthen your emotional bonds with them, which reassures your child and soothes any sense of anxiety they might be feeling. So whether you're rubbing their back or singing them a soft lullaby or just quietly whispering to them, the idea is to simply give your child reassurance that they're safe and cared for, while still fostering their ability to self-soothe and sleep on their own. One other tip too, in your efforts to calm your child, make your presence as boring as possible. Don't reward your child for waking up by playing with them or reading to them or overstimulating them. Just keep the room and your presence as calm as possible. You might even think about waiting a few seconds before entering the room so that your child has the opportunity to fall back asleep on their own. Of course, nighttime awakenings might be one thing, but the reasons for those awakenings are multiple. Like it could be any number of things causing them to wake up at night. If your child is well past the newborn or infant stage and they're still waking up throughout the night, let's take a look at what might be causing those underlying issues. One of the first things to know with children is that even though they might be a really solid sleeper, they may experience temporary sleep regressions. These usually occur around the 12-month and 2-year mark, and the symptoms are usually what they sound like. You can expect nighttime awakenings, perhaps even difficulties getting them to sleep initially, or maybe even kids fighting their bedtime. We have a video all about how to handle sleep regressions, so be sure to check that out. But really know that these regressions are common and, most importantly, temporary. If the symptoms of sleep regression don't resolve after a couple of weeks, then don't hesitate to reach out to your pediatrician. If your child's a bit older, say around 2 to 5 years old, and they're waking up at night, there are a few tips to consider. First, make sure you rule out any obvious signs of illness or physical distress. Once you've determined that they're safe and healthy, then just employ the same techniques you would on infants. Rub your child's back, maybe readjust their pillows and blankets, then leave the room. Again, the goal here is to simply reassure your child that you're there, that they're safe, and that they have the tools to self-soothe. If the nighttime disruptions persist for these older little ones, get some guidance from your pediatrician. You'll want to pay attention to anything like significant daytime sleepiness or any severe snoring or trouble breathing throughout the night. Sleep disorders among children aren't super common, but they can occur. So if you're noticing that your child isn't sleeping solidly at night and it's starting to impact their ability to thrive during the day, then again, reach out to a physician. Getting your child back to sleep may be a process, and it could take some time to figure out the rhythm or routine that works best for you both. But one thing to pay attention to is when and how long they nap during the day. Make sure the naps that they take don't occur too late in the day. If they're napping too late in the afternoon, it could make bedtime that much more difficult since you're putting to bed a kid that's not actually tired. Most infants and toddlers will nap 2 to 3 times a day, eventually transitioning to one block of napping as they get older. Ideally, these naps should occur in the mid-afternoon. Of course, listen to your child and let their mood and energy level be the guide, but give them the best chance to sleep tonight by moderating when they nap. It's important that you do what you can during the day to make your nighttime as smooth as possible. In addition to being mindful of their naps, there are 2 other things we'd like to recommend. First, make sure your child gets plenty of sunlight and time outside. Sunlight is great for resetting and modulating our circadian rhythms. And by the way, it's a great recommendation for us adults too. Getting enough sunlight during the day helps our body stay in sync with the natural rhythms of daylight and darkness and tells our body when it's time to sleep and time to wake. And of course, in addition to the benefits of sunlight, any fresh air and active time is great for your child's overall health, wellness, and their sleep. And finally, make sure to eliminate any distractions within your child's bedroom. Their room should be a comfortable, cool temperature for sleeping, ideally around 65 to 70 degrees. The room should also be free from unnecessary or distracting noise. Consider a white noise machine to mask out outside noises, or you could even invest in some heavier curtains to mask sound from outside. Speaking of curtains, make sure you block out as much light as possible. Street lights, hallway lights, maybe even a small nightlight could be keeping them awake or preventing them from getting back to sleep after they wake up. And finally, you might even introduce some calming scents like an oil diffuser or other air freshener. Scents like lavender can be great at calming those little bodies and getting them back to sleep. If you've taken all these precautions, taken care to give your child plenty of daylight, optimized their bedroom, and assured they're not napping too late and they're still waking up, then speak to your child's physician. Really, it's never too soon to address any potential issues or concerns you have with your child. Of course, sleep changes as your child changes and grows. So if you're curious about how much sleep your child should be getting based on their age, then check out our video on how much sleep children should be getting right here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Sleep well.